Hi, this morning I'm at my local nature reserve and the plan is to take some pictures of some autumnal trees. You may have seen me visit this location before. It's very close to where I live, and in these current times where we are restricted to how far we can move, it's very handy to have some woodland very close. The plan is today to have a walk around, keep my eyes open and have a look for some autumn colours that I can put into photographs. Taking pictures in woodland is quite difficult because you've got to try and isolate the subject from all the background and it can be quite messy, but hopefully I'll find something today. But the most important thing is to make sure that I enjoy my photography. What's important when you're out in woodland like this is to really take your time. Don't rush. Walk around with your eyes completely open. Look up, look down. You might see things on the floor such as leaf patterns, mould, mosses, fungus that can be quite interesting to take pictures of as well. So it's a case of just being very, very careful, very, very slow and really having a good look around you. Literally seconds after I did that last piece to camera, I looked around and saw this fungus growing here at the base of the tree. So what I've done is I've splayed the legs of the tripod right out and got the camera very low to the ground so it's on the same level as it. I've used live view with the flippy up screen at the back to get the composition right and taken a picture. Now it's not the most pictorial because the fungus is a little bit battered. I think it's quite close to the path, so it's probably been attacked by dogs or something like that. But still it makes for an interesting subject. So I found another patch of mushrooms down here at the base of this tree, but this time I found this mushroom here which is isolated and in pristine condition, so it makes a much more attractive photograph. To get it, what I've done is I've got the camera right down to the same level as the mushroom again by splaying the legs right out. I've put it into live view and used the flip up screen so I can compose again. But what I've also done is I've put it into manual focus to make sure I can get a really accurate focus on the mushroom. Still haven't managed to find any trees yet that I really like. This one just here is on its own in quite an open space, but it's very difficult to isolate from the background because the leaves are only just going slightly brown and so it doesn't separate from the background. Don't forget, if this is your first time visiting the channel, to click the like, subscribe and the bell notifications to be informed of all of my future content. I've come to the edge of the lake, and just down here I've filmed some fish. They must be the best part of nearly 2 foot long. You won't be able to see them on this camera because I haven't got a polarizer on, but I put the polarizer on the front of this camera to take some footage. Quite spectacular.
Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our faces are done.
So I've just walked past this tree here and taken its picture. Now when I first took it, it looked like this, quite dull, not as anywhere near spectacular as it did. Seconds later the sun came out, as you can see now, and it transformed it into this. Really brought it alive, a much better picture, so I'm really pleased with that.
With you and I, the future is bright. We don't need no more. Even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm.
So I've just found some leaves here that have started to go yellow, but they've also been eaten, so they almost have a kind of lace-like quality. Now I had to use some pretty poor camera technique to take the picture because I needed to get quite high to look down on them. So what I did is I flipped out my screen so I could hold it above my head to compose it, and then just try and hold it as still as possible. Not the best camera technique, but it got the shot. Just here there's some sunlight breaking through, so what I've been experimenting with is trying to slightly underexpose so the background goes a bit darker and just highlights a bit that are catching the sun. Not the greatest subject, but it makes for some interesting pictures. What I've decided to do is spend a little bit of time really appreciating where I am. So I've spent 15 minutes in this location just having a little look around, and I've spotted things I wouldn't have spotted before. Yeah, admittedly they don't make for the best photographs, they're nice snaps, but I've really enjoyed doing it. You can tell I'm really starting to experiment now. I found an old tree stump just here that's broken off, and the end has got some really interesting textures and patterns. So what I've done is I've set the camera up here at its full height. I've extended the legs and the center tube to get the camera looking straight down. I've used a flippy out back screen to make sure that I can compose it properly, and I think I've got a really interesting pattern shot. I'm really getting experimental now. I'm trying some intentional camera movement. Now this is something I've not done before. Basically it involves moving the camera either in a pan or in a twist kind of movement, and then pressing the shutter as you do it. So what I've done is I've set the shutter speed to about 1/25 of a second, and to do this I've had to stop down to f11. But it creates some interesting patterns that I don't actually dislike. I'm quite liking what I'm getting. intentional camera movement is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I have found a few techniques that are useful if you do intend trying it. What I've been trying is some rotation, and the best time to press the shutter is when the camera is horizontal, because that's when you get the horizontal picture, and then the smears come after that. Also, if you are doing a whip pan, that's really good for trees because it makes them quite misty and ethereal, and again, you press the shutter when you think you are about where you want your composition to be. What a great morning that's been. I've been out now for a best part of 4 hours wandering around this woodland. I've tried some new techniques that I've not really done before, so that's created some interesting images. I hope you've enjoyed walking around with me as much as I've enjoyed being here. If you haven't checked out my Instagram, that's at Darrell Oakden Photography. There you can see sneak peeks of photographs before they go into videos. You can also message me there on Facebook and down below in the comments. I love getting comments from everybody and reading them. They really make my day. And if you do have any questions, leave them below as well, and I'll try my very best to answer them. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and click the bell notifications. That way you'll stay up to date with all my future content. Watch out for next week's video. That goes live at 4 o'clock on Sunday. But all that's left now is to say, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Don't know whether I've said that. Have I said that? So what I've done is I put some really interesting textures and you can also message me there. Oh, bloody hell, my phone's gone off. I love reading comments from everybody. They